Ihr wisst ja, ich war 22 Jahre lang Aktienderivatehändler an der Börse und heute gehe ich zum Eurex Derivatives Forum. Was ist los in meiner alten Community, also der Trader Community? Mich interessiert, wie gehen denn die Märkte damit um, mit AI, mit DeFi und CCP? Schauen wir uns an. AI, DeFi, CCP. Ja, ich habe euch nicken sehen, aber habt ihr wirklich verstanden, um was es geht? Das erklären wir euch heute hier in unserem grandiosen Börsenwohnzimmer. Keine 2 Minuten nach dem Aufbau. Unser Wohnzimmer zieht die ersten Expertinnen an. Vor allem unser Kamin. Unser erstes Thema DeFi, Decentralized Finance, also dezentrales Finanzwissen. Aber erstmal wärmen wir uns ein bisschen auf. First of all, before we go into the deep dive, we have a box with surprises. Put your hand in here. Don't have a look first. And take something out. And what is your first thought when you see this regarding derivatives?
Okay, so first of all, I didn't know what I will grasp out of the box. But now that I see that, I have a nice idea of how it looks like and how it will be when I put it in my mouth. Yeah, it's the same as with derivatives. You have an idea or a feeling about how the prices are going to evolve in the future, and you just make your bet on it. Yeah.
You're from the stock exchange. Everybody's talking about decentralized finance. We don't need anyone in the background, no central counterparty.
We from Eurex, we participated all in the ECB exploratory work on new technologies, settlement of payments for new technologies. And there we found out that those two words are not really so different as they seem to be. Yeah? For example, we were able to migrate transactions coming from the DLT ecosystem with transactions coming from the traditional ecosystem into one platform, applying the same risk methodology and rules. So there is one thing that we will never compromise, and that's the integrity and the safety of the market. And we prove during these trials that CCPs, central counterparties, are very well established in order to do that, to migrate the two ecosystems onto a platform that ensures the integrity of the market.
Think of a match where the two different teams are playing football without a referee. So that's how I would see a decentralized system without someone that can guarantee and ensure the integrity of it.
Großer Auflauf in der Halle. Aber was hat ein Olympiasieger auf einer Derivatemesse zu suchen? Und dann auch noch mit meinem obersten Chef. Und bei mir habe ich jetzt den Olympiasieger Oliver Zeidler. Du bist Spitzensportler. Was hat Spitzensport mit Derivaten zu tun?
Im Spitzensport braucht man eine Strategie, beim Derivatehandel braucht man eine Strategie. Denn wenn man einfach so in den Markt hinein jumpt und wild investiert, ohne da wirklich einen Sinn dahinter zu haben oder eine Strategie zu verfolgen, dann ist es genauso schwierig wie im Sport, wenn man einfach in so ein Ruderrennen zum Beispiel reingeht, ohne eine Strategie, vorne zu viel möchte und dann hinten raus eingeht, dann gewinnt man auch nicht die Goldmedaille.
Wie wichtig ist für dich Disziplin?
Disziplin ist extrem wichtig, gerade im Sport. Man muss sich jeden Tag motivieren dazu, zu trainieren, denn am Ende entscheiden manchmal so viel Zentimeter, ob man gewinnt oder verliert. Und dafür muss man natürlich das Training absolvieren und dann auch entsprechend durchziehen.
Jede Menge interessante Leute, auch auf der Bühne. Und durch Zufall lerne ich einen anderen Bartträger und Finance-Experten kennen. And now in my living room, I'm talking to Harold. You're calling yourself observer and you've been one of the panelists here regarding multi-asset trading. But first of all, we have a surprise box and there is a small gift for you. So put in your hand here. Don't look, put the hand. Take something out. And what's your first impression regarding derivatives?
Derivatives, this is an egg, of course, and the nice thing with eggs like this is looks like a bit like what people often say about derivatives is that it's kind of black box and you don't know what's in it. And you could say of this egg as well, because I know already this is not a chicken egg. This may be a surprise for many people, but it may also be the surprise how important they are and how close they are to the real world.
In multi-asset trading, you have a lot of asset classes. And coming to commodities, for example, what's your impression about commodities? Is this underrated, overrated?
It somewhat surprised me that we have clients from everywhere, but we have almost no German clients. And the most important thing is Germans, investors somehow want to stay away from commodities. They see it as an area maybe you can tell, but it's to me, it starts with a background. I'm born on a farm. We had cows, milking cows. Every summer, the industry people came to visit my father, and they want to sell Miesfutter, you call it in German, because the cows eat the grass and we have maize on their own feed, but you need additional food. And these different Miesfutter sellers were competing with each other on giving prices to my father for which they wanted to deliver their footer for the whole year on 1 cent difference, one between the other. So they were really competing, but the protein, the soybean meal they were going to deliver wasn't even harvested at that moment. The soybean was still growing. How could they sell already Miesfutter to my father,
which did not
promising
yet
a
exist,
price,
yeah.
while they still couldn't have this?
Yeah.
So they must have bought it somewhere. And then I realized, no, they use futures contract for that. And these futures contracts are very, very important. And especially the agriculture futures markets are very, very important. The whole history of futures trading starts with almost 100 years of only being it applied in agricultural markets. And so it's kind of strange that there's a large group of people that somehow doesn't want to trade commodities in agricultural markets and see it as a bad thing. It's essential.
But how can we eliminate that not only speculators would trade commodity futures, for example?
It starts with, don't be negative about speculation. Investment is about speculation. You take a speculative risk. If you don't want speculation, you should not invest. Whether you buy stocks or whatsoever, it's about an investment in which your returns is a risk premium. Risk premium which means you are willing to take a risk. You are willing to lose when you're losing, when something happens, just like an insurance company. If your house burns down, the insurance company will pay. I hope it does. Yes. Well, it's our responsibility as investors to be willing to lose money. The only reason why we make money and why it's socially acceptable that we make money is because we are willing to lose. So we do need speculators in these markets because we need investors in this market. It should not be speculation alone. And I am very, very happy that there are markets like Bitcoin, because that's an area in which it's pure speculation. And if the Bitcoin price goes 3 times as high as it was before and then lose half of its value again, there's no harm done for anyone in society. If the same thing would happen with wheat, we would have a real problem. If the same thing would happen with eggs, we would have a real problem.